Very good afternoon to everyone. I give all the glory and honor to our Almighty God for giving us the opportunity to come together in this manner and in this platform as NBCC family. I bring greetings from Baptist High School Tening, and I, on behalf of the program committee, the school ministry, once again warmly welcome to our resource person and all the members present here this afternoon. Respected our speaker, Sir Felofile Kezese, Administrator, Northfield, Kohima, respected school coordinator, NBCC cabinet staff, all the heads of the school and the teachers present here this afternoon. I would like to briefly highlight about our speaker this afternoon. Our sir, he was a former principal of Baptist High Kohima, an eminent educationalist with lots of experience. As of now, administrator of Northfield Kohima and also senior advisor of all Nagaland Private School Association, Nagaland. Coming back to my preparation for this head teachers conference. As soon as I forward the program to my school group, my teachers group, I have 3 missionary teachers from NBCC. Whenever NBCC friends visit to my school, I always mispronounce their name. So they are so much worried, sir, how you will pronounce this for our surname. They taught me and I said, I'm sure I'm going to make the same mistake again. I think I did not make a very big blunder this time because I came up with lots of practice. Today we are going to have a talk on landscape of school education in Nagaland today. So we will be hearing so many things from our speaker, but I also would like to share some few things from my experience. When we talk about the landscape, we have different or drastic differences in the field of education when we come to the government sector and the private sector. And as of now, the most challenging things is about the workload and the salary. Because when we see the workloads are more in the private sector, but when it comes to the salary, we give very less comparing to the government sector. So I think this is not only my school, but most of the private schools we are facing a problem. So these are the things that we are existing and we are struggling, and we just compromise to our teachers with the words blessing. We pay less, but God is going to bless. I think with that word's blessings, we are able to still convince our teachers to work tirelessly. So we always demand so many things, so many extra effort beyond their normal duty, but we still compromise with the words blessing. And as a Christian, we are really enjoying with the blessings of God. Even though we serve in the private school with the very least salary, but we are still happy in serving God. I think this is our strength, and this is our faith. So I will not waste much time, so I'll give the time to our speaker. So after which I will just throw or give the opportunity to the house to ask any questions or doubts from our resource person. So I give the time to our speaker.
Thank you for the introduction. I have a short name, Philip, but I'd like to keep it long so that only the serious one will call me. I don't want to be called by short name here and there. So it's good that you practice. I'll make my talk quite brief, considering that the topic is very wide. A seminar with 3-4 sessions is required to understand the landscape of education. I was also looking at Google, internet, to find out what's the real meaning of the landscape of education. And there are various definitions, so wide area. I'm not competent to speak on all those topics. So I have condensed it to my own convenience, considering that things to which I want to share should be of benefit to you, rather than listening to a lecture which is not very well presented and may not be understood by the audience. Yesterday I had a visitor from Dubai who is originally from UK, about 46 years old, an arts teacher. And his salary is in parity with the UK. So what they get in UK, they are paid there. If a teacher from India goes to Dubai, they will be paid less because the money, that the salary in India is less. So adjusting the parity expenditure, they give the salary, which is quite injustice, but inevitable, because UK people going back to their land, they have more expenditure than Indians coming back to their own land. So he mentioned about his school, Heartland International School. The fees all put together in 1 year is about 28 lakhs, which is normal for any European country. If you send your students to any European country, their fees will be approximately 28,000, minus the accommodation, food. So if you are sending your children to such school, it will be more than 28 lakhs. And so there are people who can afford it, and because of that fees, the teachers are paid very well. He said, during the vacation, I get my pay, but I don't need those pay. I have enough saving, so I want to utilize my vacation pay to help some students, schools. His father was a war veteran who fought in Kohima during the Second World War, so he came to visit. And he said there are some Nagas working in Abu Dhabi, and I came to know them. 4 or 5 ladies working, and one is a Rengma. So she contacted that person's parents in Zemenu, one village I do not know the name, but he came to Dimapur, hired a car for 2,000 rupees per day, and then he drove himself to the village. Bad road, doesn't know, but through the Google, he was able to navigate himself and reach there. And he was so happy. In Dubai, the water is from the sea. It has to be desalinated, lots of treatment. And here in Nagaland, it's rainwater. I wash my face with rainwater. I shave with rainwater. My food is cooked with rainwater. I wash my clothes with rainwater. And now my skin is smooth, glowing. If I stay longer, I'll become handsome. And he was very happy. And I slept on a bed, which is as hard as a wood, but it was good for my health. And the food, no insecticide, all natural food, green. And they killed rabbit for me. I had breakfast, lunch and dinner, all rabbits. I didn't eat anything, only rabbits. And so when he came to my place, I said, I'll offer you chicken, pork, beef. I was fortunately having some hornet in my fridge, so I cooked that for him, but I advise him, if you have not taken earlier, don't take, because some people can be allergic, and I cannot look after you. So I gave him only one piece. But he took the photo and shared with his friend in UK, and they were having a good laugh. But he said he'll be coming back again. He visited Don Bosco School, I think that was in Old Zemenu, and he says they were short of toilet rooms. So I decided that I will donate some toilet facilities for them. But I'll buy it myself, and I'll carry from my car, and I will also try to construct it along with them. So that kind of simplicity of life was his treasure. So our moderator was talking about salary, that is why it is striking my mind. Teacher's job is more work with less salary, but rewards in life are not in terms of money. It is in terms of satisfaction and the purpose you fulfill. Those are the reward. And we come into this world empty, and we are busy here with things that are not belonging to us, and we go away empty-handed. So, real wealth, real treasures in life are not monetary things, are not physical things, but they are intangible things. And treasures we are asked to collect, which should be everlasting, which should last forever. Money will never last forever. Your house, your estate will not last forever. But there are things that will last forever. And that is the attitude which every Christian must have. I always remind myself every day about this Bible verse. Do not store up treasures where moth will destroy and rust destroys, or thieves come to destroy, or to steal. But store up treasures where moth cannot destroy, where rust cannot destroy, or thieves can come and steal. So These are the words of our Creator, the Son of God, Jesus. And these are things that we need to imbibe on our mind and transfer to our students. These I will call it quality education. People talk about quality education in the government sector. Officials will talk about, we need quality education, quality education. But quality education has less to do with academic stuff. It is more to do with producing a human being that is humane, that acts like a human being, and not be trapped by money, by greed, by selfishness, by exploitation, hatred, and jealousy. So that's in very brief the definition of quality education according to me. I have passed to you 2 leaflets because it is a component part of what a landscape of education in Nagaland is. There are 1900 schools in the government sector and only 762 schools. That's not even half, but a little more than 1/3. That is one scenario of schools in Nagaland. And if you look at the other leaflet, the enrollment is just the opposite. In the pre-primary, you'll find that there are 72,000 students, and out of that, there are only 27,000 students in the government sector. That means you just minus it, it will be a huge number, a huge difference in the private schools and the government sector. Cannot go into all the details, but class 9 and 10 is a very good index. If you look at the figures of class 9 and 10, 52,000 students overall. And so the government students are about 15,000. So a lot of students, more than double, are in the private schools. And one figure which I cannot get officially, but unofficially, which I heard, is that per capita, government is spending about 60,000 rupees per head for the government children. That is because so many schools, more than the private schools, and then the salary is more than double the private schools, but the number of students are very low. Teachers in the government schools will send their children to the private schools. That I don't have to say, you know it yourself. So that is the scenario of education, and the number of government schools, the exorbitant number is because government has the responsibility for educating its citizens. So whether there is student or not, the government has to open a primary school in all the villages, recognized villages. And that is why the number has gone very up. Otherwise, if you take only the high school, the number of high school will be much less than the private schools. So this picture gives a overall picture, but not a very good picture. So you just be aware of that. So we'll leave that one aside and then come to our topic. Very briefly, you can say that the landscape of education is management of interconnection between institutions to facilitate proper development of children. So the focus is on the development of children. There are infrastructures, there are curriculums, and there are teaching methods, which comprises of the total landscape. So I will dwell more on the teaching learning process. That is my area of interest and which I thought will benefit you. Before that, we are having about 3 boards: CBSE, ICSE, and the NBCC. We all belong to the NBCC, except for if anyone coming from Moguchung, the Jubilee School is ICSE. There's one ICSE school in Dimapur. There are a couple of schools under CBSE now, but 97-8% of the schools are under NBCC. So that is just an overview of the schools and board. Then under the NEP now, you all know that the pre-primary is starting from 3 years. It's nursery, class A, B, and then the primary is now 1 to 5. The upper primary is 6 to 8, secondary is 9 to 10, and higher secondary is 11 and 12. To me, it's just same as the old pattern. Only the number has been clubbed differently. 1 to 5 is considered primary, and then upper primary, we call it elementary earlier, or lower secondary. It's just a change of name, otherwise the structure remains the same, and so it is not so important. I will leave about, say, at least 20 minutes for discussion, so I'll jump to my main area of interest. How to present quality education, proper education to our children to achieve the goals of education in general, the landscape, the education landscape and its objective. Now we all know about Constructivism. Those who have studied B.Ed recently, your whole subject is revolving around Constructivism. When I did my MA in education and my wife was teaching in a teacher education college, there was never a mention of Constructivism. Constructivism was a recent concept. But even in the earlier models, aspects of Constructivism was there, but it was not coined as Constructivism. So now all the B.Ed, the M.Ed students, their teaching, learning process is all revolving around Constructivism, and we cannot do away with that. It's, we shall call it a theory, but theory may be 100% right, or it may not be 100% right. So let us consider that Constructivism, although embraced by the education system of today, it may not be 100% efficient. But considering all the latest development, Constructivism is a very ideal theory, and we should know this if we are running a school or if we are teaching. Our job is in the field of teaching. Very briefly, you can say Constructivism is it focuses on individual attention, teachers as facilitators, understanding and encouraging creativity, and so on. Let me just find out further. If you go to Google, Internet, you can find all this, so I don't need to repeat again or elaborate on this because it is readily available on the mobile set. It is a learning theory that suggests students construct their own knowledge through experience and social interactions. The students are allowed to construct their own knowledge through experience. And that is why the word Constructivism comes. And in order to achieve that, there are some points like it is student-centered, it is activity-centered, it is developing deeper understanding, it is project-based learning, BPL. These days, whenever you go to any school, you'll see children carrying posters in their bags, sticking out. All are doing projects at home and bringing, and some do it very good. I feel sad to destroy some of the posters, so I used to paste it on the wall. But all the classes put together, it becomes a huge waste material. So destroying it, a very sad thing. But we need to preserve those and exhibit so that the children also, those who have done it are very rewarded, and the rest, they just enjoy how their friends are doing. And the teachers, they give, you give internal assessment mark according to that. So these are all based on the Constructivism theory, very important. This year I had a teacher from, retired teacher from NCRT, a person who writes textbook for NCRT and used by CBSE schools, some private schools here and there. A maths teacher, and exceptional maths teacher. He's from Bhopal. Our NCRT used to get his services. That's how I came to know him. Very simple man, a Brahmin, but not Brahmin in attitude, only Brahmin in the intellectual. I introduced him to some schools in Kohima. He came for a seminar in my school, but the other schools were invited after paying a few amount of rupees for his expenditure. And what he said was, a teacher's job is not teaching. Then everybody eyes popped up. We are doing, our profession is teaching. What this guy is saying? But as we went on with the workshop, his method was constructivism, helping the students to find out solutions, answers by themselves. So whenever teachers try to explain a question, he said, don't give the answer now, let the students work. And in maths, students, they find out their answers through various means, not according to the teacher's method, but according to their own method, and sometimes the students' methods are more convenient than the teacher's method. And he says, this is what a teacher's duty is, to help the student find their own solution rather than giving them ready-made feedbacks. Don't chew the meat, don't chew the grains and feed your children. They will not be healthy. Let them eat by themselves, let them chew, crunch the hard things and let them digest it by themselves. That was his concept. So, it was very interesting. I will not go into the details, but I'll just tell you one point, which I also know. He asked the math teachers, all the best teachers from Kohima, said, what number comes between 1 and 3? Very obvious. 2. He says, no. Not only 2. Then he said, 2.5, 1.5. And they said, some of the clever ones said, more than 10. Partially true, but not very true still. And then, after about 4 or 5 minutes, they came to know that it is infinite number. Infinite. Between 1 and 1.1 is also infinite number. Countless numbers. So, this kind of concept must be in the head of the math teachers in order to give quality maths to the students, to expand, to explore their mind beyond the textbook. So it was very interesting. Why do we teach LCM? Why do we teach HCF? There's a reason. But do we tell the reason to our children? No. Sometimes the teacher also doesn't know. They know how to calculate, computate, but they do not know the use of LCM and HCF. And so these are stereotype teaching. To make those formulas alive, the teacher must understand and make it meaningful and reasonable to the students. In algebraic expression, why do we say a plus b is whole thing squared is equal to twice ab, a squared plus twice ab plus b squared? Why? These are formulas which, if written correctly, you get 2 out of 2 or 5 out of 5. But why? What is the necessity of that? Why do we use a instead of number? So this kind of things are matters that teachers need to know in order to provide proper education, mass education to children. And the whole seminar was entitled Hot Mathematics. Higher order of thinking in mathematics. So in order to give higher order of thinking, we have to go back right to the basic things, to the tiny little things, and then from there we take it. Otherwise, it is not going to be meaningful, it is not going to be fruitful. Following this, one of my favorite instruction to my teachers is, do not cover syllabus. Then what should we do? We should uncover it. This was stated by a Harvard professor. Very simple statement, but very impactful. Do not cover the syllabus. My assistant principal in the mission school which I taught, which I was the principal, he always argues with me, "Sir, you always say do not cover syllabus, but how are we going to let our student appear exam without covering the syllabus?" So I had to give him a proper answer. Do not cover the syllabus means do not finish the course without the students understanding it. They should digest it. They should understand it. And when they understand it, it becomes uncovering the syllabus. It does not mean that you should not cover all the topics in the textbook. It does not mean that. It means you should put an effort to uncover the meaning, make the syllabus meaningful, understandable to the teachers, to the students. So, for people who first come to hear about that, they always argue, but there's no argument in that. Do not cover the syllabus, uncover it. I think when you go back, you should write this on the poster and paste it on the teacher's classroom, in the teacher's room, so that they will also start questioning, and then they will know what it means. Of course, in the lower section, from class 1 to, say, 7, I tell my teachers, no need to cover all the topics in the textbook. The textbook is not a syllabus. But what is essential for the next class and appropriate for the present class, you teach. If you don't have time to cover the rest, leave it for next year, don't worry. But whatever you have covered, you let them understand it. That is more important. Understanding is more important than getting 10 marks out of 10. So that brings us to another concept of education. That is, this is also my favorite statement to my teachers. A bad teacher talks, keeps on talking, keeps on lecturing, keeps on teaching. And that is what that maths teacher was against. Teacher's job is not teaching, it is helping the students to learn. So a bad teacher talks. And so what does a good teacher do? A good teacher explains. And our teachers, they all do that. They have to make the topics simpler, digestible. And so a good teacher's work is to explain. Nothing greater than that. Then comes the third, let us say, and after good teacher, let's say an excellent teacher. What does an excellent teacher do? An excellent teacher demonstrates. He does not only talk, he demonstrates. If he is a moral teacher, he demonstrates with his life. If he is a science teacher, he demonstrates with the apparatus, science equipment. If it is history, it relates to our present day life, why we are here and where we are from. Social science can be very interesting if we approach on those lines. Why are we teaching in English? Why in Nagaland are we all talking in English? We could have been taught in Assamese or in Hindi, very likely, like in Arunachal. But But it so happened that our education started along with the colonial period. And during the colonial period, the British Empire was over India. And fortunately, we have the American missionaries bringing education to us. And so these two forces gave us English as a medium of instruction. And no matter how much India hates English, we cannot do away with it. Because Parliament is not Hindi, it is English. Train is not Hindi, it is English or some development from other ancient words. Election, maybe there's a word in Hindi, but it's not popular. Nobody talks about other words when election comes. Vote. So India cannot avoid English because of the colonial period. Why we are wearing trousers? Why are we wearing shirts and ties? That's because of colonial period. What is colonial period? It is about the British Empire invasion into many countries. India is one, and that is how the culture has come. We need to know this. And so it becomes very interesting. That way, education, an excellent teacher demonstrates. Is there a better teacher than an excellent teacher? Yes, there's one. A great teacher, or let us say an outstanding teacher. What does he do? Maybe some of you know. What does he do? Great teacher. It starts with the word I. Inspire, right. A great teacher inspires. His effect on the student is not only academic, is not only scholastic, but his character. I want to be a teacher because I want to be like him, is the achievement of an excellent teacher, a great teacher. So, this, in a nutshell, is what every teacher needs to know and to pursue. We may not achieve the greatest teacherhood, but knowing it and following it will make a big difference. So a bad teacher talks, a good teacher explains, an excellent teacher demonstrates, but a great teacher inspires. And when you have reached that level of inspiration, inspiring others, I think you are doing God's work. You are the ambassador of God, inspiring children to live a true human life. If we go to this level, we can safely say that we are giving quality education. Our present concept of good school is not on that line, not even on demonstration, but on NBCC result, which is not a good picture. If 100% passed, that means many schools are eliminating the weak students, throwing them into other schools or to government schools. And if there are only 10 students and 10 pass, that means you got 100%, which is not a good picture. Some government schools are getting 100% pass percentage, and they have only one student. Yeah. And that is why NBCC also realized that this is giving a wrong picture. So let us avoid giving pass percentage. This year's result was on that line. Many schools were not happy with that decision, but that was a good decision. And so quality education is not about NBCC result. In the process of teaching, we should not forget that when we impart education to the student, three things normally happen. Three windows of learning takes place. I hear, I forget. I see, I remember. So, hearing should be supported by seeing. And then I do, I understand. See? That Constructivism emphasizes on understanding. And understanding comes through hearing, seeing, and doing. If we give education by telling them only, we can expect them to forget. If they see what is being taught experimentally, one picture is worth more than 1,000 words, that's what we all know. So it helps a lot. But doing it it makes a lot of difference. Let us not forget about that. So rote learning versus understanding is an area which I also had in mind to share, but that is very obvious, you all know, so I won't do it in that. The last concept that I want to share with you, which may be controversial, which we can have a debate also among ourselves, is competition. Competition versus collaboration. I am against competition. And many people do not agree with me. But in my statement of Northfield, I read, we don't believe in competition, but we believe in collaboration. And I used to go to the extent of saying, the world's problem is because of competition. Every tribe wants to be better than the other tribe. Every country wants to be better than the other country. And that is why we have conflict. If we start sharing, if one country starts sharing to the other person, to the other country, many problems in this world will be solved. But because we are competing with one another, those who cannot catch up are apprehensive, they are scared, and so they become defensive. And so they also struggle to compete. 1 point. Second point is, what about Japan, South Korea, Europe, and America? They are so advanced. Competitively, they are in the top competitive world. Those who are not competitive cannot survive. And so we said, there must be competition. But look at the lives of Japan, Americans, Europeans. Their life is very unhappy, always stressed, unhappy. Suicides. Children are committing suicide. Even in India, many people pressure their students to go for IIT, IIM, IIS, lock their children at home to study, and they are fed up. Many IIT students commit suicide. You know, it's the daily news. These are all because of competition. Okay, they reach the top, but when they reach the top, what do? Very little help others. They just try to satisfy their greed, get more and more, richer and richer. And the more they become richer, the less human they become. So, we can achieve excellence, we can achieve something, we can improve upon our things without competition, giving our best. It's not that if there's no competition, we cannot do better things. It's not like that. We can be the best footballer by not trying to be the best footballer. Giving just our best training, best effort, we can be the best. But to be the best should not be our goal. Unnecessary. To be the top in class 10, higher secondary, there are 25,000 students appearing in class 10. One student coming to the top is only one person. What about the rest? The rest are more important than one person. 24,999 are more important than the one person who comes to the top. So, these competitive things are, according to the Bible, I think Jesus never thought about competition. And since we are all Christian community here, I think we need to base our education on Christian principles. I don't want to steal your time, so I will end here.
To myself, I have learned so many things. We talk about constructivism, we try to put it, but in reality it's very difficult, like to the remote area. But we are still on the process, and we are really blessed with your session, and I hope we will be working together even in the near future also.
Now, in terms of money, for example, I just want to relate to my own experience. I'm serving in the association for the last maybe 20 and even more years. But now, sometimes, I don't know, to really come up, taking care of this institution, especially, we have to pass through committee, school managing board, committee, executive, council. So, when we deal with students, sometimes it is a headache also. And in relation to this, most of us are from association schools. So sometimes we fail to satisfy ourselves at the same time, the school, we are dealing with day-to-day life. And sometimes, of course, in spite of all these facilities, we are getting all the facilities, be it in terms of money or all these things. But I just want to listen from the experience of our sir. How do you supplement again this?
The objective of education is to produce citizens who are very happy, joyful, satisfied. But again, many people say, yes, but happiness does not cover a bill. There should be something else. Of course, when we are talking about this, we are not doing away with salary. Salary should be decent, but should not be vulgar. If a teacher's salary is, say, 2 lakhs, still, if he has an opportunity to get 3 lakhs, he'll go for that. But as teacher's salary is, in the private sector, is quite low. Let us say from 10,000 to between 20,000, which is the salary of a government sweeper. I think so. I know some government sweepers are drawing 15,000, 16,000 or more. And minimum wage, as per the national law, is, I think, 12,000. Minimum wage salary to be given to any government employee is 12,000. And teacher's salary starts from below that, which is very pathetic. We should attempt to increase it. To increase it, we need to increase our tuition fees. So it's a little tricky there. If you increase our tuition fees, then there will be lots of halabula things. Now, government is also asking us how much annual fees you are taking, how much tuition fees you are taking, how much salaries you are paying. They want to know everything about what is going on. But I said, private schools in Nagaland are the cheapest education, lowest fee structure. Our officers, our politicians are sending their children to international schools, even within the Northeast. The expenditure is not less than 5 to 6 lakhs, forgetting about the travelers, accommodation, all this. 5 to 6 lakhs. And in Nagaland, even my school, which is the higher on the higher bracket, is not more than 35 to 40,000 per year, which is very low. And why is the government thinking that we are making money? So we need to fight for our rights. I keep a lot of teachers because I feel pathetic also. So many educated people are jobless. So my idea is to keep the salary moderately low and employ a lot of teachers. I have about 110 teachers in my school of 2,000 students. And so the periods that they take is about 3.5 periods per day. They have very relaxed time. They have time to think, they have time for corrections, and they have time to talk, share their food. So I like to keep it that way. Otherwise, I can squeeze it, I can reduce the teachers to 70 and increase the workload of teachers, 6 periods, 5 periods in a day. But they will be like work horses. They'll go on working, but they will not be achieving anything. Goalless. So I think until and the time comes when we are not bothered much and we can comfortably or decently increase our fees, I think we should always make an attempt, no matter what the government says. We should always strive for a substantial increase in the income so that they can be shared with the teachers. And I firmly believe that a decent salary for teachers must be our goal. So I think 20,000 is a comfortable pay in the private sector. Governments are getting much more than that. And as long as we are here in this world, of course we are not going to be satisfied with our salary. Any salaried people are not satisfied unless they are in a big company, CEO in the top sector, where they earn 5 to 10 lakhs per month. Unless it is like that, nobody is going to be satisfied. But with the present scenario, with whatever we are getting, let us also remember, not forget, that we are so well off comparing to our forefathers. Our forefathers work throughout the year to get 10 bags of rice. We are living in an age where with 2 months' salary, we can get 10 bags of rice, apart from other expenditure. So we can work without farming. We have come to that level. Our life is so luxurious and convenient comparing to our ancestors. Considering those, I think we should force ourselves to be satisfied. Thank God I'm alive, I'm healthy, I'm not living a stressful life. I'm not living a worried life. Make my life simple so that my expenditures are also simple. I think that is part of a solution.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I ask one question, maybe for discussion also? As we listen to you about competition and also result and pass percentage, now we as private school, you know better than us. Until and unless the school result is good, people will not come.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
until unless enrollment is there, we cannot pay a decent salary to our staff.
Yeah.
So what we share is something like a very idealistic kind of concept,
Yeah.
which is common people like us very difficult to follow. So my question is, how can we balance about competition or result or kind of cost percentage so that both our employee or both the staff and also as we live in the society, we will also be in good terms, people also will respect our own school. How can we balance that area?
That's true. If we follow constructivism and make our teaching our students understand their subject, I think parents will come to realize one point. Another point is when the students are understanding what they are learning, then automatically it will reflect on the result. We don't have to pressurize our students to be toppers. But if the means to an end, if the process is good, then we may not come in the top 20 bracket, but our students will be performing well in society. And I think that is that will have to be understood by parents. But parents are also uneducated, and so they think that a good school means those who are coming to the top. And so there's a rush for admissions on those schools, and other schools, they have less number, and then they dwindle, and then they resign. Recently, 4 or 5 schools were declared as cancelled. Although it was not cancelled by the government, the owners themselves, the proprietors themselves, requested the authorities that they are shutting down the school. And it is all because of the number. But I find that there's a vicious cycle. Less number, so they get not very good teachers. And when they don't get very good teachers, then the quality of education is also affected. And so the result is also affected. So less number, so it's a vicious cycle. But I think we don't have to worry so much about the reflection on the board exams, but do our best. Make our students happy, let them perform what they're learning, and then there'll be a difference. I'll tell about my school. When I started in 2002, I collected a few parents like this, and I said, if you want your children to be toppers, then this school is not for you. But if you want your students to understand what they are learning, then this school is for you. And they believed that. Some did not believe. Some said, oh, we'll see the board result and then we'll send our children. I had those honest statements to me, and I appreciate them. But there were many parents who trusted that they will send their children, trusting on us. And communication in English is one of the main things that it is the tool, it is the wagon through which all the other process of education is going to take place. So they must have a very strong fundamental on the language, the medium of instruction. So we cannot do away with English. So I emphasize on the English. And learning, talking, understanding English was to take them around, to let them play. And when they play, they talk. And we stop them from talking in Nagamese. And all the tribes put together. So they talk, they go to we have nature walk. Our school is near the forest. So every day, one period is for going to the forest. And they talk nonsense, but all in English. That is how they became very conversant in English. My students became very talkative. And some parents said, they don't talk in our language also, they talk only in English. That was complaint that I heard. But so learning was effortless for them because they have a fundamental knowledge about the communication skills. So that was one of the attraction of parents. Oh, they are understanding, they are learning, they are talking. So that is how my number increased.